Just moments ago, President Trump saying he hopes Elizabeth Warren runs in 2020. He thinks she'll be easy to beat. But before the presidential race, of course, there's the midterm elections just 22 days away, and we have brand new numbers that show Democrats with an edge. Take a look. In a Washington Post ABC News poll, 53% of registered voters favored Democrats for Congress, 42% for Republicans. Voter enthusiasm has increased among all voters to 77%, up 12 points from just before 2014's midterms. But Democrats are seeing the biggest gain, up 18 points to 81%. And voter enthusiasm has jumped 25 points among younger voters since the last midterms, 24 points among non-white voters. My panel is back with me, Chris Wilson, Jason Johnson, along with former Democratic Congresswoman Donna Edwards. So Senator Elizabeth Warren has called President Trump's bluff. She took a DNA test showing she has distant Native American ancestry. She said, I took this test, released the results for anyone who cares to see because I've got nothing to hide. Let's remind folks of the back and forth that we had earlier on. This is what the president had to say about her claim about having Native American ancestry.
I will give you $1 million to your favorite charity, paid for by Trump, if you take the test and it shows you're an Indian, you know. And let's see what she does, right? I have a feeling she will say no, but we'll hold that for the debates.
So let's play what he just said now, just moments ago.
What is the reaction to Senator Elizabeth Warren releasing the results of her DNA test?
No, I have no. Who cares?
Mr. President, you said you paid $1 million to charity.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't. You better read it again.
Mr. President, what is
Congresswoman Edwards, we didn't read it again, but we did play it. I'm pretty sure he said that he'd give her $1 million. What do you think? Is he going to pay up?
Well, I think he owes her $1 million, and I don't think he's going to pay up any more than he's ever paid any of his debts. But, you know, 2020 is on, but we got to finish a 2018 election first.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit of that. One of the most talked about races I've got to ask you about, Chris, is Senator Ted Cruz, Texas, the man you worked for. Beto O'Rourke is just blowing the roof off with small dollar donations. $38 million in the last 3 months alone. He has spent $15 million already on TV ads against Ted Cruz. But the latest New York Times poll shows him trailing Cruz by 8 points.
He does. Quinnipiac has him down now, and what he achieved for that money is he is now the most unpopular statewide official or statewide figure in Texas.
Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, it is. He is absolutely, because he has sort of nationalized his figure. He's taken stands that do a great job raising money from a national liberal base, but all he's done is just cannibalize money that would have gone to Heidi Heitkamp or Claire McCaskill or other Democrats that could have saved their seats that are probably now going to go down to defeat, while O'Rourke is on this vanity mission that is just basically flushing money down the toilet.
Jason, let's look at this from a very real standpoint. There are a lot of Democrats who would love nothing more. I hear it all the time when I'm out in, the campaign trail. They would love to see Ted Cruz lose, and they're sending money. But does Chris have a point?
Oh, yeah. We literally just had this conversation in the green room. I was like, Beto O'Rourke made a mistake by nationalizing this campaign. Look, midterms are all about the state you're in. You don't want to take your debate and put it on a national cable network. You want it to be local. I talked about in Georgia, where you've got Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp. They're debating at home. You've got Florida, where some of their debates may actually happen at home. When you want to make yourself a national candidate, that's a vanity project. It does become a bit of a vanity project, and it doesn't impress the people in the small towns. And this doesn't mean that Beto O'Rourke was ever going to have a chance. I thought it was always going to be difficult for him to beat Ted Cruz. Nobody likes Ted Cruz, but it's Texas.
He's far more popular than Beto O'Rourke.
Do either of you think there's any chance Beto O'Rourke wins this with all that money? Any chance he wins this?
I think it's highly unlikely unless we find out some huge, terrible scandal about Ted Cruz, and his personality is bad enough, and if he's still leading with that, he'll probably win.
Ted Cruz is very well liked in the state of Texas. Yes, he's going to win.
Yeah, here's the other thing, Congresswoman Edwards. So you've got this. I don't think there's any doubt about the enthusiasm on the Democratic side. We're seeing the polls. I can tell you from being out there that there is a groundswell of people who have never voted before, certainly not in the midterms, those voters who only go out in presidential years, who have really been motivated by all this. I think the left is as motivated by Kavanaugh as the right may be. Having said that, it is, I think, to both of these men's point, it's about what is your constituency worried about? And the headline in the Washington Post this morning says Democratic candidates focus on health care as midterms near. And in fact, the Wall Street Journal points out that health care is the subject of the greatest share of political ads on TV right now. Tell me what you're seeing. Do you see Democrats capitalizing on this enthusiasm in a way that is going to really be a game changer?
Well, I think particularly doubling down on health care, because health care creates a lot of anxiety, across the country. And, when you have Republicans in Congress over and over again trying to undermine the Affordable Care Act, trying to get rid of pre-existing coverage for pre-existing conditions, these are things that actually motivate voters at home where people live. And I would take a different tact on Beto, because I think that while it's true he's raised a lot of money for his campaign, he's also helped to generate a lot of enthusiasm among the base around the country. And in fact, the turnout for Beto in Texas could actually drive at least 3 congressional seats in there into Democratic hands, because you'll see voters turning up who might not have voted before. And so I don't want to totally dismiss that, but I also believe that for Democrats, it's important to focus on not just on, being against Trump, but what are we going to do for the American people? And I think that's what you see in honing in on a message of delivering health care for the American people in every single one of these congressional districts is really resonating with voters.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.